Oh man, I hate when that happens. Listen, I said I wanted ice in my drink, not... Oh. Hello and welcome back to the Library of Horror Hotel, where it's time once again for Creepy Cheapies, where we check out the best Halloween masks. Today's mask just happens to be, buckle in, it's a really crazy one. It's so crazy, it's called Maniac. Okay, now you may be thinking, I've heard of maniacs before. You may be thinking if you drive in Ohio, if you drive an automobile, you see maniacs every day. But this particular maniac, not to be confused with, the Joe Spinell one from 1980, or the Elijah Wood one from 2012, or the Michael Sembello one from Flashdance. This particular maniac comes to you from the Dungeons and Padded Cells over at Zagone Studios. We have that up there, Zagone? We have that? Yeah. Zagone! The people who used to be something and now are called Zagone Studios, and you can always count on them for cool, innovative, original looking stuff, can't you? Now, if you're thinking you've seen this guy before, you probably drink too much. I don't feel like I've seen anything like him before. I guess he looks a little bit like this old zombie vampire mask they have called Yummy, only Yummy looks happy. Yummy turned that frown upside down and has his mouth the opposite way because he looks much happier. The Maniac, however, who is clearly more than a maniac, since either he's a vampire with natural fangs, you see those little pointy twofers? Either he's a vampire or he is such a maniac that he has filed his teeth down to points. I'm getting the impression that's what he did, yeah. Look at those eyes. And I did not paint those in or anything. This is how it comes from Zagone. Okay? Check those eyes out. You just know if this had been out in the 1970s or 1980s, if this particular mask had been around back then, you know it would have had those cool little plastic eyeballs in there, like the Be-Something masks used to have, like the Warlock and the Two-Face mask and the Hanging I Do. They had these little plastic eyeballs that were really cool. They were bloodshot looking, a little smaller than a real human eyeball, and they were called eyeballs for highballs because they were a joke where you drop them in someone's drink and the eyeball was weighted on the bottom, so it would always be looking up. So you'd have the eyeball looking up out of your drink. He's having fun, isn't he? He's a fun kind of guy. No, there's no fun guy on him. He could also be an evil leprechaun because look at his hair there. Now, I would like to see, and this is just me thinking out loud because, you know, if you think silently, what's the point in thinking? It doesn't get you anywhere because nobody will act upon it. But if you think out loud, you can go ahead and say things like, I'd like to see this mask painted in sort of a vampire, vaguely London after midnight look. Maybe blue, maybe blue and white, like white highlights and blue shading, you know. Maybe crazy, creepy looking eyes, maybe weird possessed eyes that are kind of red or yellow or some such, and maybe hair on there that's either black or gray, and then he could wear a top hat and be kind of a vampire or Mr. Hyde character. And for that matter, he'd make a great Mr. Hyde character if he had a little bit of beard hair, beard stubble going on there. And really, he's pretty good as a Mr. Hyde already. If you have a Mr. Hyde costume, this guy is all you need. But until he escapes the padded cell, he'll be waiting for you at Zagone Studios, where I believe he costs about, how much do you cost? $1,100. Are you sure? I think he's about 50 bucks. He thinks he sells for $1,100, but I don't think so. I think he's just being a maniac again. I think he's more like 50 bucks. But very cool thing, the Zagone Maniac. And as you can see, it stops right about there. So it's what we call a 3/4 mask, meaning it costs 75 cents. No, meaning it doesn't come all the way down and have a neck and all that jazz. You know, doesn't have the bib or any of that. But anyway, big thumbs up for the Maniac. Now, I better find that eyeball I dropped on the floor. With my luck, I'll slip on it.